The following presentation is in response to our customers' needs for flight safety classified parts. This is a presentation on flight safety classified parts quality requirements. This class is a requirement to meet the quality standards for our customers' classified part certification. Refresher courses are required annually for all employees that work on flight safety classified parts and their associated documentation. This presentation includes information on Bell QPS 300 and other customers' quality procurement specifications, FSP flight safety part, flight safety requirements, critical part requirements, primary part requirements, classified part requirements, and flight safety importance. Alert: this document is reference only. All specific information can be found in the latest revision of the Bell QPS 300 specification, as well as other customer specifications. Quality procurement specification. Classified parts made for Bell Helicopter and other flight safety part customers must comply with the quality procurement specification QPS 300. Bell and our other customers perform audits at all of its suppliers to ensure adherence to the QPS requirements. Major findings from these audits can result in corrective action, part returns, scrap, and possibly loss of business. The Bell QPS 300 and other similar documents are documents that list the quality requirements for suppliers who work with classified items. Flight safety parts. Not all parts are controlled the same. Parts manufactured under the requirements specified here are classified into three types. These include flight safety part requirements, critical part requirements, and primary part requirements. For some parts, the very lives of the people in the supply chain we serve depend on our diligence and discipline. Those are flight safety parts. The following are examples of flight safety parts: blades and components of blades, tail rotor and tail rotor components, including the drive shaft, swash plate controls pitch of rotor blades. There are hundreds of flight safety parts on a helicopter. Flight safety parts. A flight safety part is defined as any part, assembly, or installation whose failure, malfunction, or absence could cause loss of or serious damage to the aircraft and serious injury or death to the occupants or ground support personnel. Flight safety parts may include detailed parts, assemblies, or installations, depending upon the drawing level at which the part obtains a critical characteristic. It's important to remember, failure of a flight safety part can result in death or injury, and all flight safety parts have at least one critical characteristic. Critical part, an item that is non-redundant and where failure results in a condition that inhibits or prevents an auto-rotational landing. Critical parts will contain at least one of either a significant characteristic or a critical characteristic. It's important to understand, failure of a critical part can result in a condition that inhibits or prevents an auto-rotational landing, and all critical parts have at least one significant or critical characteristic. Primary part, an item for which structural integrity is essential for the safety of the aircraft, and failure results in a forced landing of the aircraft. Primary parts may be designated as such without any specific characteristic being defined as significant, or may contain one or more significant characteristics. The following are used to identify significant and critical characteristics. Identification of a significant characteristic using the symbol denoted. This symbol is hand-drawn or mechanically reproduced. Identification of critical characteristics using the symbol denoted. This symbol is also hand-drawn or mechanically reproduced. All documents applicable to classified items, manufacturing, procurement, quality, shipping, and others shall have clear notation of classification level, primary, critical, flight safety, on each page of the document. It's important to note, work instructions planning will be identified, as flight safety, critical, or primary on every sheet. Also, inspection sheets will be identified on every sheet. The following several slides describe sections of classified part requirements along with key points of the requirements. Operator buy-off. Manufacturing shall signify completion of each significant and/or critical characteristic operation on manufacturing operational planning with a buy-off by the operator or operators completing the operation. The buy-off consists of a legible name, clock number, and/or other suitable operator identification. Such identification is applied adjacent to the operation number on the planning sheet. It's important to note, operators completing the critical operation shall buy off the operation with their names, clocking number, or other ID on the planning sheet. And first article inspection is required on one of the parts from the first lot manufactured using a customer-approved check sheet. 10.1. Nonconformities on BHTI designated classified items must be submitted for BHTI Material Review Board consideration through the Supplier Material Disposition Action Report, known as SMDAR, process unless Material Review Authority has been delegated to the supplier. Nonconformities involving classified items must be identified on rejection documents with the appropriate classified item level, primary, critical, or flight safety, in bold letters preceding the description of the nonconformance or nonconformances. It's important to note, nonconformances will be submitted to customers using the SMDAR procedure. 13.1. Classified item suppliers shall conduct annual classified item program awareness training with all personnel involved in the planning, manufacturing, purchasing, and inspection of classified items. Suppliers shall ensure awareness training program includes sub-tier source approval. It's important to note, everyone working with the classified parts must take this class annually. 12.1. An annual internal audit of the classified items program shall be conducted by the supplier to ensure compliance to requirements and adequacy of special controls. Audits are to be oriented around classified items being manufactured. It's important to note, compliance will be assured through auditing, and items shipped must be marked as flight safety, critical, or primary as applicable. As a final note to emphasize the importance of flight safety parts, failure of a flight safety part can result in death or injury. Flight safety parts. A flight safety part is defined as any part, assembly, or installation whose failure, malfunction, or absence could cause loss or serious damage to the aircraft and serious injury or death to the occupants or ground support personnel. Flight safety parts will contain at least one critical characteristic. Non-compliance can result in corrective action, part returns, scrap, and possibly the loss of business. A part without the proper paperwork markings and size dimension is worthless. If you have any questions, ask your supervisor or a member of the quality department. Remember, it's always better to ask. Thank you for participating in this training. In a moment, you will be taking an assessment to test your knowledge on this training. If you need to review any slides, use the controls at the bottom of the screen to do so now.